Time now to take the nation's political pulse, and we have the man to help us do just that. Dr. Nik Nanos is the founder and chief data scientist at Nanos Research. You're not a real doctor. I'm joking. Nick, how are you, sir?
No, not a real doctor. I am a real professor, though. A little trivia point. But anyways,
Well, then
good to see you.
do you have a doctorate?
No, I'm one of those guys that started a doctorate but didn't quite finish it. So I guess I'm a bit of a wash-up on that front. But things seem to have
That's
turned
what I
out
think of
okay
you, Nick. You're a wash-up. That's how I look at you. All right. The Liberals not washed up just yet. They're actually seeing a bit of a bounce.
Well, yeah, a little bit of life, at least in the Liberal numbers. When we look at those national tracking numbers, the Conservatives still have the support of almost 4 in 10 Canadians at around 39%. They're down a little bit. You know, the margin of error for the survey is plus or minus 3.1 percentage points, 19 times out of 20. You can see the Liberals at 26, up 4, NDP at 20, down 2, Bloc at 8. You know, the Green Party has about 5%, People's Party at 2. But a little, and you know, the thing is, Roger, when the numbers move between the Conservatives and the Liberals, it has a material impact on the advantage that the Conservatives have, because it like goes from one column to the other. That said, Conservatives still with a very comfortable 13-point advantage and are in majority territory, but maybe a little bit of a hope for the Liberals, but for the Conservatives, still a pretty good advantage.
Any indicators as to why that's what? 'Cause it's a fairly big kind of month-to-month or week-to-week jump, isn't it?
Yeah, it's of note, and I think a lot of this has to do with election fever. Maybe that's what we should be calling our segment soon enough, because, man, we don't know when there'll be an election. There are multiple non-confidence votes that have been introduced, and I think as Canadians start to be more focused on the election, they're looking at all of the party choices that are before them, and you know, who knows where we'll be in another 4 weeks.
I know, and there's a lot going on also provincially. There's elections everywhere there, so everybody's thinking elections at different levels. So it's an interesting time right now. We will be busy for the next little while. Let's talk about how people feel about the federal government. You looked at the numbers between December 2020 and October 24, and how do they match up?
Well, you check out the numbers in terms of the proportion of Canadians that have a negative view, right? Kind of like pessimism and anger right now. You can see, wow, Roger, more than almost 6 out of every 10, I think it's about 58%, have negative views, feeling angry, feeling pessimistic. And only a minority of Canadians are either optimistic or satisfied when they think of the federal government. We have to remember it's not the Liberal government, it's just the federal government, but still, it speaks to the mood. We talk about populism and anger. We see what's happening in the United States. A lot of those similar sentiments are definitely in Canada.
That is crazy. That's a sea change.
Yeah. And I think this, basically explains, back in 2020, we have to remember that was during the pandemic, right? And at that time, you know what? The federal government was pushing money out to help Canadians, the CERB payments and stuff like that. There was a response to the pandemic, whether you liked it or not. People were just feeling a little better about the government in Ottawa writ large. But fast forward now, and it's a bit testy. Why don't we say a wee bit testy? And I'm not even going to try to put on a Scottish accent.
All right. One more graph I want to get to, the confidence index. Let's take a quick look at that and tell us how people are feeling.
Yeah, this is interesting. We track consumer confidence with Bloomberg every week, and you can see compared to a year ago, like 50, that red line 50 is neutral consumer confidence. So a year ago, consumer confidence was neutral. Now it's in positive territory. And the thing is that when we look at this particular number, Roger, this is a positive score for consumer confidence that we haven't seen in over 2 years. So I think a lot of this has to do with interest rates going down a little bit, perhaps Canadians feeling a little better.
They can breathe a little more.
A little.
A little. All right, Nick. Thank you as always, sir. Have a good one.